What is up, YouTube? It is early morning, it is cold out, and we are headed down the road. It's about 5 in the morning, so by the time we get on the road, it should be 5:30, and by the time we get into Toronto, it should be 6:30, almost 7, and the sun will just be coming out. So let's just fast forward to that, heading into Milton, heading all the way into Toronto to go to the horse track, and we'll see if we beat the traffic or if traffic's already stopped. I don't know. We'll see you there. almost made her green, but oh well. Usually I'd turn the other way, but I might as well just wait. I'm not in any rush. That's why I got up nice and early. Have arrived. I don't know who you were driving down the 427. I was just having a little lay down there for a sec. How it goes, or thanks for watching, buddy. If you didn't see the video the other week, they take the wood chips, put them in here, and then they bring them over here and they put them in a big old pile, and then I take this big old loader and I fill this trailer bucket by bucket. But we literally just did that last week, so we are gonna be loaded in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is a load. Still got our hawks up there chilling. What are you two up to? Just been everywhere, dive bombing, hunting, getting that food. All right, we'll give this one quick push up and go see what this 8 in the morning traffic's looking like. What are you two up to? Just watching.
about 4 more stop signs after this one to go through, so let's just get through that last one with the magic of editing. Well, we made her to the last stop sign, and then we can go hop on the 407 because the 401 is in not great shape, as usual, in the morning. The lift axle on it once before and it was no good. To get around me. Just had to get around me. But there it is. Some flashing lights, tow trucks, a couple lanes shut down. Good thing we're heading out of town, not heading in. way down there. Holy. before we get off the highway, of course, we get one more roadblock here. And he's staying on. All right. Get her done, GFL. Get her done. Let me guess, you're gonna turn here. Or are we just dropping down to 80 for no apparent reason? Oh, now we're just full brakes on. Wow. Come on. So hard to drive out here. You never know what someone's gonna do. Oh boy. Good old Canex didn't even know what he wanted to do. He whips over with the four-ways on, and then right when I get by him, not 30 seconds later, must realize you can't back up that far to make that turn. Back on the road, right behind me now. Well, here we are. Tarp's rolling. We got a nice built-up pile over here. So we're gonna put her back in this back corner where we've been stockpiling a little bit, because once the winter comes, we stop going down to Toronto. They still needed to clean up all that liquid right there. So we will lock the old airlift axle up, and then we will put this phone down, and we'll open these doors and let out a big old mess of the good stuff. Oh yeah. And then head back for yet another load. And just like that, she walks herself empty, leaves them a nice big pile of fresher material. They can push up and stockpile and keep it for a little bit. Got a little bit more to push up, or a little bit more to pull up, I should say. Maybe I'll put my second one there, since they'll probably come and use some of that today. If they don't, and they don't push that up, the next one will be going here. We'll see. We'll see. We still got to go to Toronto. We still got to go see everything we already seen this morning. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know, because it's hard to record, film, and make a different video all the time. I made 16 videos in November, and yeah, that's
It's a lot of different things to do and keep it interesting. So, yeah, here we are, doing the same thing again. Steam and pile. Empty, empty. All right, good to go. All right, now we're nice and cleaned out. Ready to shut these doors and head her back to Toronto for another one of these big boys. Hopefully this is pushed up. We can put another one right here. We'll see. We'll be back in a couple hours. But I need a drink. I'm thirsty and I don't feel like stopping in Toronto or any of the on-roads, so we'll hit up the little QB's Variety in Brownsville. Just a beauty. It's 11:11, so I gotta make a wish real quick. Okay, got it. Local business shout out to Hubie's Variety here. Also a shout out to all the neighbors that let me roll up and park here. I shut the truck off, try to be respectful, but I know it's loud. Anyway, Brownsville, Ontario. Stop here. They make sandwiches if you're here at the right time. All the good stuff. Nice, quick, and easy. Not fighting with a bunch of truck drivers for a parking spot. Yep. Definitely the place to stop. Look at that. Whew. Clean machine. Pulls out in front of me. Does 70 and an 80. Perfect WM merge. What's going on up there, driver? Come on. Truck that was behind me passed it too. Attaboy, attaboy. Keep her coming. We'll get her down to the 401 here safe.
couple of buddies trying to let each other onto the highway. Except Amex forgot that he should probably hit his brakes and be a nice guy and let that guy in the hammer lane back in, but not a lot of brain power out here much these days. Well, she's definitely getting a lot busier out here this round than it was this morning. We're still rolling though, that's all that matters. Been cut off a whole bunch of times, but we're still rolling. Next stop, Milton. Just going, look at that track, holy. ADHD to the max. But yes, going by the Cambridge on road, next stop, Milton. Oh boy, that is a big track, no doubt. And of course we got our typical center lane assassin out here. Big sunrise. Showing us how it's done. Oh, finally passing someone. This is why I stayed in the center lane. Now passing someone. And our sunrise center lane assassin gets out of the way, and would you look what's in front of him. That other massive track to a huge excavator or something. We'll catch up to him and get a little intro clip, because that is cool to see. Yeah, thanks there, Sunrise. Really appreciate that. Now that is a big old track. Holy. That is wild. This morning, coming down that second Halton Hill, where they're building this new overpass for the 413 highway they're apparently putting in. Last time, I guess this morning, I was kind of just waiting for something interesting to happen, because usually something happens, but then I just turned it into a bit of a time lapse. This time, we're going to start with the time lapse, and then if something interesting happens, I will edit it, pause it, and all that good stuff, and we will talk to you get to work, boys. Get off the cell phones. 10-4. Oh, buddy. Out of the way. And here we are back at the pile. Unfortunately, the other guy is already here getting loaded, so we'll have to wait for him to be done. No big deal. Takes him a while, but oh well. Can't win them all. And they are putting out some of the fresh wood chip stuff, and he's throwing in the straw. So it's a whole different pile of stuff that he's taking. We're taking wood chips, he's taking straw. And for him. Now we wait and edit this video. So it's 1 o'clock and we're just seeing some at the top of the front. Don't know how long he's been here, but we'll see how long it takes. Back up he goes. Well, that is greatly appreciated. He pulled on out and is letting me take over. Makes the day that much easier. Greatly appreciate that, driver. And time to do this all over again. This big end dump over there just reminded me that I seen Blake and Joel Richardson rolling down the old 427 this morning, and I missed the clip of both of them. Forgot to mention that, so sorry boys. Looking large though. Hi. Well, that's another one loaded for me and another one dumped off for that guy. Alrighty, push up this pile and get out of town. Worst part of it all, cleaning out the bucket. Once again, Joe in the other truck, I appreciate that big time, buddy. We are loaded up. It's 2 o'clock, so I was less than an hour getting loaded, so that's not too bad. There goes the old tarp. And we've done it. We've beat the Toronto traffic. We have beat everyone that's about to be leaving here within the next hour or two. Everything gets all screwed up and not good. That's why we take the 407. But even then, after the 407 is usually also no good at all. But it's only 2 o'clock right now, so we are gonna just take the regular 401, not even worry about the 407, and head her back towards home. Let's go. Why'd you need in this lane if you're not going all the way over? Oh my. Chaos out here, even when everything is smooth sailing. Look at this, holy. that big rat race, you're kind of in the straight and narrow, but it backs up just as easy, don't get me wrong. It's just not quite so many people cutting you off and doing crazy stuff as back there. This is all the older kind of concrete stuff, and we're just about to switch to the whole new setup they have now, which will run the express all the way out to where we started this video this morning. And then we're headed for Elmer to unload one more load of this fabulous wood chips. I'd say where they got the loader parked is a little bit of a hint. Hint taken. You want her against the wall. I get it. Well, she's +2 out here, so it's getting real muddy right over there. Oh well, we're backed in. She needs a bath someday, some way. That's what I was meaning. Loader's kind of in the way of where we were before, so I'd assume that means don't put her there, put her up against the wall, and that's where we're gonna go. We got a nice little tripod here, pretty expensive one actually. Perfect. That'll work. Great. Bigger than I expected, so probably can't see nothing. That is a big old steaming pile, just kind of like the first one over there. It's all pushed up. This one will get pushed up against the wall and used. Get the rest of this out, get the rest off of the top there, and we'll be good to go. Oh yeah, nice and cleaned out. Perfect. All right, pull ahead once more, and we'll be out the door. Oh boy, rhyme all the time. She is definitely a little muddy out here. We'll clean this trailer off and we're gone. Oh yeah, she's mucky Kentucky back here. What do you think, cows? Thoughts? Words? Anything? Maybe a welcome to the video? Look at you standing on the concrete. Bad boy. What's up? I have a hello. You're pretty friendly. You're pretty looking like a good friend here. And oh, hello. Oh, he let me touch you. So soft. So soft. Okay, friends. I'm done stepping in your manure. You guys are precious. Thanks for being here. Keeping us working. Appreciate it. Every single one of you. Alright, we gone. Left at about 5 this morning, and we are back at a little after 5 this evening. And everywhere. Hey, driver. All right, YouTube, that is it. We are back. That was a long day going to do these 2 runs from Toronto to Elmer. Definitely is a long time. Thankfully, that other driver moved out of my way, got me in and out of there a little quicker on the second time because it definitely takes him a little longer. But, you know, he didn't have to do that, so I greatly appreciate it. Anyways, I know this video was super long. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you see anything cool. Make sure you leave that comment. Make sure you give it a like, and make sure you always subscribe for more, and do the shares and the bell and all that stuff. Like I said, I posted 16 videos
last month, so hopefully we can do somewhere near that again, but definitely sucks repeating the same thing over and over again. But let me know what you think. We'll see you on the next one.